All right, cool. So I'm just gonna stream a quick video talking about investing in general and just my, I guess, story with investing and trying to just give advice to other people who are, just kind of know me or whatever, and they hear about some of the things I've done in investing. Maybe they're curious about how I invest, or maybe they can learn something about me. Also, I apologize that the quality sucks on the audio. I need to invest in a new microphone, but yeah, just something I need to get to. All right, so I took a few notes. Um, yeah, this is mainly just like intended for like an average person type of investing, I guess. Like there's definitely people in life who make a lot more money than I guess like an average person. I would consider myself an average person because I don't have like an insane amount of money, but at the same time, I think that's kind of like taught me valuable lessons because I feel like certain people in life kind of get golden tickets and they get like inherited wealth or whatever, and maybe they lose it all, or maybe they invest it well and it goes up and all that. But I don't know. In general, I feel like this is going to be intended for like a person who thinks like life kind of sucks because like we all like just kind of lose our money over time anyway, or like our lives are like limited, and like if we're being honest, like rent is going up. There's more homeless people. There's more like I don't know, people committing suicide and all that stuff. So it's like just try to like make your life less sucky, I guess. Because yeah, I mean, even my life has kind of sucked in a lot of ways. It's like not too bad, but it's just like you know somebody I guess my age should probably have like I don't know, like family and wife and kids, their own house and all that. And I didn't get in any of that stuff because I'm trying to like avoid the downside of all that. So like I'm trying to minimize my expenses, living really cheap for now, and just like using like compound interest to gain a lot of more money in the long run. So at some point, like I'll actually spend more and all that, but for now, it's just like I'm living in my parents' basement pretty much, just saving money. And yeah, anyway, I think that's enough about me talking about how my like story is, I guess. But yeah, I guess like not everybody is going to have the same kind of style of investing. So I don't know, stuff I'm gonna quickly outline just might not be in line with what you do. And yeah, so I'm gonna give a quick summary of like what I've been through when I've kind of learned about investing. So I guess like most people, Bill Gates kind of quoted saying that like most people invest, or like most people's money habits are the same when they're like in high school. So however you were spending your money in high school is probably gonna be how you spend the money the rest of your life. And for me, when I was in high school, I was definitely like cheap as hell. Like I think I just realized like I was poor because grew up in a family of 10, and like I don't know, my dad was like cheap and would always like turn off the lights and get really pissed whenever we kept the lights on and stuff like that. And I didn't even have like money to like buy video games and stuff, so I'd be like stealing and stealing from family and stuff when I was a little kid. So it's just like I don't know, it just like I guess it was like instilled in me to like really value money. But then at the same time, I was kind of jaded because like once you get in college and stuff, they talk about loans. And then when I was getting college loans, just like felt like money was just like nothing. And I could definitely feel like I can empathize with people who have it easy in life, who are just like, born with rich parents or whatever, and then they don't really understand like money, and they don't realize how hard their parents hustled, and just like a lot of cases of like immigrants who come to the United States and their parents really hustle, then like that kind of gets lost over time. And there's also like a lot of people like on welfare, and I don't know, there's a lot of subjects to go over. I don't even think I wrote about welfare in my notes, but I should also write down something real quick. Money. All right. So yeah. So what was I saying? Yeah. So there's people on welfare and stuff. They just don't know how to deal with money. Like simply put, like those people are just screwed probably because making wealth is like more of like a mindset thing overall. And if you're born in like a shitty situation, you just kind of have to like figure out how to get out of it. I feel like that's what a lot of people do who are do become successful or whatever. But at the same time, you also don't want to like overly work or like overly invest because then your life just kind of sucks. So it's kind of like finding a balance in life. Anyway, all right. So more like detail about me though. Like I want to mention that like when all right. So I mentioned when I was like high school, I would just save my money, and I also had like a job at Stop and Shop, and that actually helped a lot because I was actually able to just save like a couple $1,000s when I was like 18. I didn't really think much of it, but I didn't know exactly what I was gonna do with that money, but just having it and saving it was like what was important. Because even though it wasn't that much money, it was like enough, I guess, to like get me thinking or like make me realize how easy it is to actually make money. And I didn't even realize I thought everybody had that much money, or I thought I was poor, but I didn't realize like a lot of people are actually in debt and stuff, and they aren't even able to save like $1,000 because they're living paycheck to paycheck. Um, so this, I don't know. I guess like this stuff that I'll end in this video is probably gonna be like stuff that only like top 1% of people think about. Because even if like a person's making a lot of money, they might not actually understand a lot of stuff I'm probably gonna go over. Uh, I was talking to some person, like a friend who worked at Google actually, and that guy had way less money than me because he was actually telling me his numbers and stuff. I was just like, wow, this guy makes like double what I make, but yet he can't save any of it. Um, and I've also read stories like people who are like janitors who ended up like retiring early. Um, so yeah. So anyway, after college, I was able to graduate college without any student loans, and I just want to base that on luck. Like it was just I honestly did not. I went to college just because my friend went to college, and my teachers actually said like, you shouldn't go to the same college as your friend is going to just because it's your friend or whatever. But that's exactly what I did, and it actually worked out really well because the college I went to was UMass Lowell, and at the time, I think. Hold on, let me switch to the desktop view. At this time, I think student loans, UMass Lowell's tuition. I mean, it's probably going up over the years, but I was in state, so UMass Lowell's tuition was probably like I don't know, $10,000 per year, and then $5,000 of that was through financial aid, and then I worked on campus. Um, so then I made like probably like $2,500 working on campus per year. So I only had to like pay like 2,500 left, and I think my dad was just nice enough to pay the small 2,500 off. So he probably spent like 10K total on my student loans. So it probably wasn't that big of a deal for him. But yeah, he helped me out, and he also helped me out, but just like letting me stay rent free. And I know that's like definitely a privilege and whatever, and a lot of people they probably like get jealous or whatever when they hear me saving money and then living rent free and all that. But it's just like I don't know. I'm just taking what comes to me in life. You have to take uh, whatever lucky stuff you get. I mean, there's definitely people who are like from wealthy parents or like they're Justin Bieber or whatever. They get a crazy music deal, and they just get an easy life. So anyway, so that's me in college. So I graduated college. I actually luckily um, got a STEM degree, and I feel like everybody has to get a STEM degree. There's no ifs or ands or buts about it. Like people who major in uh, I don't know all these like arts and humanities subjects, they're just not going to have valuable skills for actually like making a lot of money. Like most people that I know who are friends of mine who ended up going for like an arts or humanities or whatever, or like all the right brain kind of like degrees or whatever, like they ended up just working at like a minimum wage job after they graduated, like working at like Costco or like um, working at like I don't know Bed Bath and Beyond or whatever the hell, or like working at Whole Foods or whatever. And I feel like a lot of people like they go in and out of school. Uh, so yeah, so I don't know. I didn't really even know anything about investing when I was in school. It was only until like after school that once I had a job and I was actually saving a good amount of money that I started really learning about investing. And honestly, when I say investing, like investing can mean like anything. Like let me switch back. Like investing is actually not that complicated. Like you can invest in anything. If you buy a cup or whatever, or like piece of tape or whatever, it's like that's an investment. Like you're making your life better, hopefully, or at least what you think will be better based off of your calls you're making when you're trading in the market. So even if you're getting an education, like that's an investment. Or stocks are an investment, or even skills, like skills to make yourself valuable for an employer. I would definitely consider that an investment. It's not like one of the most vital investments you can make um, because that's just gonna really start to pay you income, especially down the line. All right. Yeah, so I didn't really finish about my story. So then, once I graduated college, I got a job. It was tough for me to find a job. It was like really freaking hard. Like my dad was on my case because I just graduated. I couldn't find a job for like at least like a year or two, or I think it was just like a year, but that year felt like 5 years. I don't know, because I just felt like I was applying to like hundreds of jobs, and I was not getting any. And I don't know. I feel like that was kind of my fault because I didn't really take school that serious. Like I still learned some stuff, but like I definitely like could have like made better relationships with a lot of my teachers and stuff like that, and like networked a lot better, and really try to like learn the material as opposed to just like getting a good grade, so that I can actually like use that as a skill. Um, so yeah. So anyway, once I finally graduated, I started going on this like website called Meetup.com. Let me actually switch. So it might sound like some weird dating site, but it's actually not that at all. It's basically just like this site that lets you like meet and like network with people. So I went to like PHP Meetup. I don't know if this is actually that popular for like people who have like humanities or like natural trades and stuff like that. Uh, but yeah, so anyway, you can kind of like go to these groups and just like find people and network, and it's actually cool because I ended up finding a guy who worked for a Fortune 500 company, uh, and he was also working on startups and stuff like that. So he it got me to learn like the basics of like HTML and CSS, because even though I knew computer science because that's the degree I went after, and it was a good degree, and I kind of got like a basics for programming, and also just a lot of other general skills that I didn't really realize, just like using computers and internet and stuff like that. Um, but anyway, yeah, I started learning like HTML and CSS because he let me work on projects with him, and I was also just kind of learning it on my own through like YouTube videos. And then he also gave me a network reference to a dude who gave me like my first job doing programming, but I was getting paid like contracts. I ended up opening my own LLC, and then it was like really low pay. It was like $20 an hour, but it like taught me some fundamentals. And from there, I ended up getting fed up because I just was not having enough work. So I just went on Craigslist and I just started like applying to a crap ton of jobs. And I would say that's a really good investment of time, is just to like apply to a lot of jobs. And yeah, right now, I mean, you can go on Indeed and just submit your resume and just keep applying. And uh, also I use Monster, and yeah, that's where I work actually currently. I work for Monster.com. And anyway, yeah, so all right, so yeah, so after I got that first job though, I got enough skills, so I finally started doing better on some interviews, and I finally got like one interview to accept me. And luckily enough, I was able to answer like one question correctly, and that's because I had like that previous job. So it definitely goes back into like investing in your skills is what's important. But anyway, I feel like I'm talking about jobs and stuff when it's more focused on like investing. So after I after I was able to like save money, because I didn't really have any expenses. I was still living at home, and I just got a job, and I'm finally starting to like make pretty good money. I was making like, well, I guess I shouldn't say my exact numbers, but I was a front end web developer making entry level kind of, and I was making pretty good salary. So, and I didn't have any expenses whatsoever. I didn't have student loans to pay off. I didn't have a car. I mean, I eventually got a car and stuff, but I didn't have to pay for housing because I was still living at home, and I was just the only money I spent was like on food, and I still live cheap. I don't really buy clothes and stuff that often, so just pretty much save all my money, and I'm able to save like 90% of my paychecks, which I don't think many people can do, and I'm still living like that. So my money's definitely compounding. Anyway, yeah, so let's get this back on track with being about investing. So first thing you want to do if you're going to invest is open up a bank account or a credit union. I actually use a credit union. I know a lot of people use like bank accounts and stuff like that, like Bank of America, but I actually have no idea what some of these other banks really do. I feel like they're kind of scams in a lot of ways because they make you like pay probably certain fees and stuff, like if you use ATMs and stuff like that, or I don't know, I haven't actually heard the greatest things about Bank of America. I know it's like the gold standard and all that, but like I heard they had to get billed out and stuff, and like this all just seems sketchy to me. It almost looks like they want you to buy a credit card, and I don't know, with a credit union it's just like you actually, I don't know, are not incentivized to get a credit card. Like getting a credit card was something that never even really occurred to me. And my brother, I remember I was having a conversation and he was just like, you don't have a credit card? I'm like, no. But I don't know, I feel like some people, they already are trapped in this credit card bubble and some people aren't. And I was just lucky enough to just randomly just not have it. I don't know, I just felt like it was not a good idea, and I guess my gut intuition was right. But yeah, I stay away from credit cards, and I just have a credit union. I don't think you need to have a credit union, but you just need like a checking account, and you just need like a accounting and routing number, so you can hook it up to other websites, so you can start like buy and sell stocks. So I'm not exactly gonna like log into my stuff, but I did take some screenshots, and I'll like show you how to hook all that up. All right, so yeah, so I talked about credit card, debit card. All right, another thing I just want to quickly mention high level is like, what is money? And like money is basically just value that humans are exchanging with one another. Like I remember I like read something on the internet about this, but like if you think of what people were like in the caveman days, basically we just do favors for one another. Like we'd build somebody a hut, or like we'd go collect somebody some coconuts, and we were like a tribe. So we evolved from like tribalism, and we just ended up doing favors for people. So like if somebody was really good at like catching fish, like the group probably really owed that person because they were doing such a good value for the tribe. And eventually, though, the world got so big that instead of just like paying back people through favors, they had to like start using other things like gold and other like ways of interacting to trade. So then people started using gold and stuff, and nowadays, though, let's just fast forward, we use the US dollar basically. Like the whole world kind of like revolves around the US dollar, and the reason why that is because the United States, through like free markets and capitalism and freedom in general and liberty, and just opening up like the free world pretty much, and winning like World War II and just kind of staying out of trouble, they became just the world's like reserve currency. And they're still probably like one of the best countries in terms of like just not having like corruption within their government. And I still think like there's still definitely downsides and aspects that have me like questioning how great the US dollar is and stuff like that, but then again, I haven't really been around the whole world, and like I don't know, just living in America, like we're really privileged, at least for the people who are watching this are living in America. But yeah, pretty much like already in the top 1% of earners, and we make on average just way more than other countries. But that said, like, there's still a lot of downside and stuff I don't understand and don't necessarily agree with. Like, I don't know, we're voting on a lot of things that sound nice, but in actuality they don't work out well. So some of this stuff is like housing, student loans, healthcare, and all these like sectors are basically going up, and that's because they sound good on paper. Like, I don't know, the Western world just got like so wealthy that it's just like it sounds good to like give everybody a home, and it sounds good to like end like racism and all this stuff, but the reality is it doesn't exactly work. Like, it's just something that sounds good, and the reality and the practical application of it just is a total nightmare, and it's actually having like influences on our real economy. So basically, in a nutshell, though, the Fed is kind of, money is created through the Federal Reserve, and they're pretty much just printing money, and this is what leads to interest rates being higher or lower, and it's also just how inflation happens. So inflation, like, even if you stored your money in a bank, it's going to lose value over time because the money supply is getting inflated because people just think they know better in our government, and they're spending it on things that may or may not help. Like, some things may be helping, but some things may be not helping, and it depends on like what we vote for. So, you know, in this weird way, your votes actually have like value to them, even if you don't think that way. But yeah, so basically the Fed is just printing money. Yeah, so I don't even know what this is. But yeah, so we're just printing money, and I think people make it sound worse than it actually is. Like, I mean, but it's still bad. Like, it just was really confusing for me when I was finally starting to make money, and I realized, like, wait, why do I make way more money investing in stocks and stuff than just leaving my money in my bank account? And even though the bank accounts say like, oh, they give you 2% if you keep it in a savings account or something like that, it's really not even 2%. It's like point something 2%, I think, on average. So a bank account is pretty much just to hook yourself up to actually spend your money at restaurants and whatever, and set it up on like all these stock sites and crypto sites and whatever sites that you actually like need to send money back and forth. But ideally, you should be using cash for stuff, I think, because cash just kind of like gets you in the mode of like keep saving your money and not like just thinking it's like some kind of number, and it's just like a credit card and just like not real money, but it actually is real money. So yeah, just think about that deeply. All right, so now I want to get into compound interest. How am I doing on this video? 23 minutes, damn. All right, let's try to keep this shorter. All right, so what is compound interest really? Let's get this graphic up here. Yeah, so compound interest pretty much just means like it's a snowball effect. Like, over time, the money you make will make more money, and that money will make more money, and then that money will make more money. And if you're young and you just invest your money early, over time you'll just have way more money than you would have realized. And it's all through just like interest. So if you put your money in the total stock market, you're guaranteed pretty much to have some return on your money. And it's really not that complicated. Like, if you invest in the total United States economy, as long as like the economy is up and functioning, you're gonna make money. Every time somebody like buys a Chipotle burrito or buys an Apple laptop or gets a haircut, like, you're kind of like making a cut because you just bought like literally everything. And as long as there's value being produced, like, you're gonna make money no matter what. So yeah, so it's pretty much like a snowball effect. You can literally think of it like it's just like a snowball that's getting bigger and bigger, like this right here. And this could be your net worth. So if you're young, it's very valuable to like learn these lessons that I'm going to outline. But yeah, just understanding compound interest. Compound interest is like even a fourth grader can understand the concept pretty much, or even younger than that. But like school doesn't teach you it, and if school did you teach you it, your life would be way different in the future. But whatever, school is just like teaching you some subjects that matter, pretty much like STEM. But other than that, stuff doesn't really matter. And by the way, STEM means um, science, technology, engineering, math, and probably like other technical um, subjects and all that. All right, and I mean, I guess like English and stuff does matter, but I don't know. I feel like my writing skills are actually going up over time, and I was failing English and stuff when I was younger. But I think that's just because like the schools teachers are like not this smartest. Like I don't know, school teachers usually didn't do that well in school. Let's just put it that way. Uh, and if they did, then they'd probably be making real money in the real world. So, all right. So yeah, compound interest is that's pretty much it. It's not like any like crazy formula or anything like that. It's just like a snowball. It's just like the more money you make, the more money that makes, and it just keeps growing and growing. And if you can just keep saving your money, it will keep going up. Uh, as long as you can protect it well. You can actually like just lose your snowball if you invest in the wrong thing or you get like too emotional and stuff. But maybe I'll talk about that later on. All right, so quick rundown of stocks. So like what are stocks? And like stocks are honestly kind of keep me confused. Like uh, basically from what I can understand, like the stock market was basically invented. It's like somewhere in the like 1960s or 1600s, maybe something like that. Basically, it's just like when countries started trading with one another. So, like if one country had a lot of corn, they'd give it to a country who had like a lot of rice or something like that, and then the two would trade, and that was like good for both countries. It like helped each country because one country was better at making corn, and the other country was better at making rice, and that helps people out in general. So create a lot of value for both countries. But in order to like keep track of this stuff, people incorporated companies. So whoever was actually like producing like corn and rice and all that stuff, and oil and all that. So pretty much everything, every like thing that we buy, or every like good and service that we get. There's a company behind it, and that company sometimes likes to raise money through stocks so it can expand its growth. So like, let's just take Coca-Cola for instance. Like, Coca-Cola has to give pretty much has to fuel the world with this product, and in order to do that, like sometimes it might need help. So you as an average person can give money to the company, and then that way the company can grow its capacity, and because it's grown its capacity, it will service more people and generate more value for itself, and then it will give you back that money as a result, like some of the like shared profit from that stock. So that's pretty much what a stock is in a nutshell. And people definitely make stock sound way more complicated than that, but that's like pretty much what it is in essence. But I guess like it does get complicated when you start having to like think about like all these technical terms like mutual funds, ETFs, day traders, and all that stuff. And when you see like these arrows and stuff like that, and it's like red and green, it's like, oh, you're making money, losing money, and there's all these like charts and stuff. It definitely feels confusing, but really don't pay attention to any of this stuff. This is all just like emotional drama to get people like thinking a certain way and get you to like buy their stock or something like that. But you just need to like know fundamentals and you'll be good. I mean, you can try to day trade, but chances are you're probably going to lose your money. All right. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you can get, honestly, I think I undercut that. Like you can get really emotional about this stuff, and this is just my style of investing. Obviously, there's still a lot of day traders in the world, but on average, they're going to lose money. Like I think you can read like a monkey with darts beats mutual fund managers or something like that. And it's pretty much like an article talking about how the money can beat the mark. Like a random monkey just beats the market because it just, I guess it's like not like people think they're like these like gurus who can like pick and choose all these correct stocks and stuff, but I don't know. It's just like really hard to like understand like how valuable a company is actually being, because like the company is doing so much trading on such a wide scale sometimes that like you as a single individual just don't really have like knowledge of how much value is getting generated. And yeah, and it's just like at the same time you also have to consider like when other people are going to buy into a stock. So like for example, like Tesla is like a really hype stock right now, but how would you know like a lot of people are going to like prop up the price or whatever because they just think that the founder is cool. Like it doesn't really have real world utility, so it's hard to like say like it's going to go up. I bet you a lot of people think it's like going to go down or whatever because it doesn't like really provide like true value. Like you could say like, oh, I could just buy a Toyota and that would generate more value. Why don't people just buy Toyotas or whatever? But it's like people want cool cars, and it's like how would you know that just like intuitively? And it's only like you probably have to be like a god or something to like know everything that's going to happen in the universe and like every trade and all that. So yeah, that's pretty much why people lose at day trading, because they think they're like a genius. Like they think they can like read these graphs and all that, and and they can say like, oh, this is going to be like a head and shoulders or like an XYZ pattern, so that means it's going to go up and then it's going to go down. But really most day traders, they'll just say like, oh, it's going to be at like 26 in 5 days from now, and then it's not at 26, it's like at like 16. Then you question them and like be like, oh, wasn't it supposed to be at 16? And then they'll just be like, oh yeah, I was off by like a few basis points, let me recorrect my thing. And then they'll just put it at 16. It's like, okay, you just like changed your outlook and you pretty much don't make any sense, but you just keep like saying that you act or that you make sense when you actually don't. You actually just failed, but it's like they refuse to admit it, and then they just keep digging their own grave, and it's just like you can't help those people. But there's a lot of them, so it's definitely like something I avoid. It's not my style, and if you want to go try to make money day trading, and go have your fun, but you're probably going to lose money through transaction fees. So whenever you do buy or sell a stock with a company, they're taking like a small cut of that, but it's just like going to a casino. It's like chances are on average that you're going to lose in like blackjack or whatever, because there's or like Russian roulette, because there's a few slots that the house just wins, and your chances of winning are only like 49% when they should be 50-50 or whatever. But because the house rigged it, it's like on average over time you're going to lose out on money. So yeah, you can try to do day trading, but don't. It's just like, I don't know, it's like think of like just red. Like, don't like danger. Yeah, so just don't day trade. That's pretty much the moral of the story. And also don't get very emotional. Like when you're buying and selling, I literally only look at my investments like once a month. And I used to fall into the same trap that a lot of people do, and I can see my friends and stuff doing it, where they just like wake up and they look at their phone and they're just like, oh, it's green, I'm gonna go buy like, you know, go to a restaurant and buy some like food or whatever and celebrate, when then tomorrow it's like super red, and then they get like all panicked and nervous and they sell. And just don't get emotional. Like all your trades, even if you're young and you still have like a lot of risk and you want to learn, you probably should only trade like once or twice a month. And I would say that's a lot of activity. Like really old guys who are really wealthy and probably have like billions, they do like one trade like year, and they're experts because they know the fundamentals and they know how how to like stay away from all the noise and like stay away from like Twitter and all these like websites that are telling you all these different news stories and articles and how to get emotional. Just stay away from all that. Cause yeah, it's all crap. So, all right. So anyway, let's get into like what ETFs are. Honestly, I don't even really know what the difference, I guess, between ETF and mutual fund is, but it's something you're going to hear if you try to invest in stocks. I think it's just like so like price continuously. That's what I kind of remembered from it. So it's like the price is constantly like changing, where mutual funds are basically just like some expert or whatever is pretty much just buying like some certain stocks and stuff for you and saying like they're an expert, and then if you buy the mutual fund manager's like portfolio, then they're gonna like pick and choose stocks for you and try to like guarantee you good returns, when in fact they're just gonna take some of your gains, because they probably put it in like an index fund or whatever, and then they'll take that money for themselves and they don't really tell you. So you got to be careful, and you just got to understand like some fundamentals before you get in stock investing. But yeah, so ETFs, what are they? Let me actually find some text on them. I don't honestly pay attention to ETFs and mutual funds, because I pretty much learned early on that you don't want to get into these. But yeah, they basically like change based on supply and demand. So I guess they're not that bad. Certain ETFs that you buy could be good, but mutual funds I generally don't buy. It's just my investment style. Like I don't have enough time to learn all this stuff. But you're pretty much just paying higher fees when you buy like ETFs and mutual funds as opposed to index funds, which if you're going to pick between ETFs, mutual funds, and index funds, then you probably want to stick with index funds. Index funds is what Warren Buffett recommends, and pretty much no one beats index funds. So just stay with index funds, in my opinion. And basically, what an index fund is it's like you're buying the whole stock market as opposed to like individual stocks. Which is like individual stocks is like what ETF is and mutual funds are, but buying like everything, that's what an index fund means. And it's just my style. Like you can try to buy and sell individual stocks and you might make some good money on it, but you're probably going to lose money over time, in my opinion. And yeah, there's also this cool proverb that I found, 3:11. Wealth gotten by vanity shall be diminished, but he that gathereth by labor shall increase. So like, what I kind of realized is whenever I personally was like trying to be very emotional, and I was just like, oh, let's get rich quick. Like I'm gonna buy and sell this crypto, and I got really emotional at one point. I don't know. I thought I was making a lot of money, but then I lost a lot of money. So that's what kind of made me realize, like, wait, you really have to like do the slow and steady. Like slow and steady is what wins the race or whatever. So I mean, you can try and like defeat like knowledge that comes from proverbs and stuff, but I mean, this has been around for thousands of years. So I mean, unless you're like really lucky in life and you're like a damn bazillion or something like that, you're probably gonna lose on average. All right. Let's get into 401ks, because that's another subject. So basically, a 401k is like a retirement plan. So the government allows people to set up like a retirement account, and there's two types of retirement accounts. There's like an employer one, an employer 401k, but then there's also like an individual retirement account, which is like an IRA, I think. Yeah, individual retirement account. You can have both, but like pretty much the incentive of 401k is the government is just going to tax you less. Like you're gonna keep your money in this account, and they're just gonna let that money grow over time, and it's gonna be taxed less. And this is honestly like one of the best ways to make money, because while the while the regular people are just like printing their money, or while money is being printed away and it's being inflated, and people are just buying their money on stuff that may or may not improve their life, like that money, there's other money that's like in 401ks that is like growing exponentially, and that's how like most people are getting wealthy. It's like they're in this like underground sewer system that's just like avoiding all like the fires and stuff, and it's just like, yeah, it's pretty much just like more growth because they're protected because they're not getting taxed. Is pretty much how you think of a 401k. So also, whenever you hear Roth versus traditional, that's just the type of 401k that is like taxed differently. So I think Roth means like you're taxed up front. So like as soon as you put your money into the sewer or whatever to get protected from taxes, you're taxed like right away. So you like take the hit initially, but then that money is like tax free once you take it out. So that money will just grow over time. And traditional is the reverse. So like you just put your money in, that money will grow, and then it's taxed. So it's kind of like you don't know which one's going to be better, but because people are voting for like socialist policies and stuff, and we already have like a lot of social policies like social security and stuff like that, people are thinking like, you know, taxes are just going to go up because people are getting like very political, and we're talking about coronavirus and like student loans and I don't know, gender dynamics and I don't know, all this like nonsense, pretty much, like social justice and all that stuff. And it's like pretty much all that is pretty much people putting on an act and trying to use like a group of individuals that are saying like, oh, we're like socially stigmatized, or like we deserve certain benefits or whatever, and they're like putting on a front so they can like get money through taxes. So it's pretty much just like these parasitic people who are putting on like a banner of like these oppressed people are just trying to like get tax money from the people who are actually productive. That's pretty much how I think of it in a nutshell. So yeah, so Roth is probably going to be better in my opinion. That's my opinion, because if I just tax now, like stuff's going to get worse over time. Like we're going to have to pay more and more taxes, and it's pretty much going to be a collapse of Rome in my opinion. Like I want to be an optimist, but I mean I just like kind of like see how things are playing out. It just has me being pessimistic. So I'd rather do Roth, because if I get taxed now, it's probably going to be like more taxes in the future. And honestly, like America's pretty cheap in terms of taxes right now. I mean, it's still like not like a Dubai or something where they don't even have tax, and they're getting like, they're like prospering economically, but or like a Singapore or whatever. But yes, like America right now is like becoming like a Rome. Like it's just getting more and more taxed, and like at some point it's going to be like Rome, where it's like people are like 60% taxed, 90% taxed, 100% taxed, and it's like once you get 100, it's like the country. I don't even know if you can get that high, but it's just not good. Not a lot of people aren't going to want to work if they're just going to get taxed that hard, and it's going to get harder to like live and stuff. So yeah, Roth is probably better, and I think even Dave Ramsey recommends Roth. So yeah, that's my opinion on that. All right, so you'll have an employer 401k, hopefully. This might change if you have like, you know, like a blue collar job. I don't really know much about blue collar jobs and if they have 401ks and stuff, but you probably do. Or even if like you're in the military or something like that, you probably have like a pension plan or a 401k. But yeah, pretty much most 401ks will give you, they'll have like a website like Charles Schwab or whatever. I think that's a company, or this is like the what's the word, like retirement brokerage that my company uses. So I pretty much have a Charles Schwab account, and they have like things like index funds that people can put their money in, and that money is being taxed Roth style in a 401k. So it's just going to grow even more compared to like keeping your money in an IRA. An IRA is like just you buying that. So it's not. I guess it's like maybe I don't really know how different the taxes are, but pretty much you can put like up to 20k a year in a 401k, I think, and I think it changes over the years. So I pretty much just like put like 20k in a Roth IRA. But honestly, I was investing in a 401k and then with one of my other companies prior to the company I'm working at now. But then I got like really emotional about Bitcoin and stuff, and I took my money out of my 401k, which I shouldn't have done, because once you take your money out of a 401k, you lose that money, or you get taxed when you take it out or something like that. So I ended up having to pay like $10,000 in taxes just because I took my money out of my 401k early, and I don't know, it's just like a hard lesson to learn. But I'm not going to do that again, that's for sure. I'm just going to keep it in my retirement accounts and just try to, just keep saving it, so when I'm like 60 years old or whatever, I'll just be set and I won't have to like stress about life. But yeah, I wish I had never taken that money out, because it just compounds. So like it sucks to have like lost thousands of dollars or whatever, but it's just how it goes. So this year was like the first year I actually like put like another $20,000 in a 401k. But previously my other companies didn't even have a 401k plan, so I had to open up like a individual retirement account with Vanguard, and Vanguard is like a gold standard like platform, retirement brokerage to go with, because they have really low fees apparently, and they just have a good brand name. It's pretty much like Coca-Cola of like retirement accounts and all that right now. So yeah, so on Vanguard, their site is kind of strange and stuff to use, but they pretty much have like these drop downs here. Once you sign up and make an account and like hook up your bank to the website, like that's probably the most important part. Like just logging in, setting up account. It really shouldn't take like that long. Like maybe it'll take like 30 minutes to an hour to like make an account. They're probably gonna ask you like for your phone number or something like that, or your email address. But then you make an account, you get your bank's like routing number and checking number, and then you just put it into their system or whatever, and then they'll hook you up with an account. And then you can take your money from your bank account and buy and sell index funds on this website. And they have like different types of index funds. I'm not gonna log in, but it's pretty much just like this drop down. But they have different like options here. So pretty much there's two things you mainly need to know. There's IRAs, and then there's just like normal investments. IRAs are individual retirement accounts, so like they're like 401k stuff. And here they have like Roth and traditional, like you can learn about the stuff. But if you actually set up an account, you'll get a different drop down. You can actually like buy a Roth 401k and put money into it. But I think you can only put like $6,000 in a Roth 401k. But if you have like an employer 401k, like Charles Schwab or whatever, maybe the company uses Vanguard, but whatever retirement IRA platform they have, you can put like $20,000 because it's like an employer one. But since this is like an individual one, you can only put like $6,000. But you can actually put like $26,000 total for your 401k. So you do $20,000 with your job or your employer, and then you do $6,000 on your own, and you get like 26k money that's like being tax deferred or like tax less pretty much. So yeah, so you definitely want to set up an IRA and get like put money in your 401k pretty much immediately. It's probably like the most guaranteed and cheap way to make money. And also I should mention that if your employer has this thing called employer matching, you want to get the employer matching. Basically what that means is like for every dollar you put in, they'll put in another dollar to help with your retirement. So if you put in $1,000 $1,000 into your Roth 401k, they'll put in like another $1,000, or but I don't think it's actually 1,000. They put in like 500 or something. I think is the average, but yeah, it's just like free money that your company's giving you because you're thinking about your future. Um, so yeah, always make sure you're getting employer matching. And even when you're getting employer matching, you have to be careful because you can put like you can buy like too much, and it's like dependent on like percents and stuff with the company, because I think the company only gives you money like per month or something like that. So anyway, call your company or like talk to your company's HR or whatever and figure that out. I don't know if like trades and stuff have employer matching, but I didn't have employer matching when I had like crappier jobs. Like when I was getting paid less, those jobs didn't really. I was doing a lot of contract work and stuff like that. So unfortunately, I was just like missing out on 401ks and stuff. And I don't know. I feel like people just kind of like treated me more like a trash employee. Like just kind of like the grunt who did work. It was like, I don't know, girls in HR and stuff would easily get jobs and become like actual full-time employees and get benefits and stuff like that. But sometimes you just have to keep eating crap, and then you finally like reach like light at the end of the tunnel and start to make money. All right, so yeah, that's pretty much 401ks. Also on Vanguard, you can like buy individual index funds, and you can also buy other stuff like REITs and all these other weird investment funds, I guess. So you can read up on different types of funds and stuff to buy, but pretty much I would recommend just sticking with American Total Stock Market, which is VTSAX. Yeah, so I also have some pictures that I wanted to share. Yeah, this is just like my account. I don't know why I logged in, but here they have like a buy and sell button, where you can, once you click on this button, or like have your account click on this buy and sell button, you'll get like a thing to like hook it up to your bank, and then once you hook it up to your bank, you can buy this VTSAX. Like you click on like a buy fund in the left, and then this VTSAX is like you buying the total index, total American stock market. So every single company in the United States, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, Pepsi, all the Fortune 500 companies, Apple, Google, haircut salons, Chipotle's, everything. You just buy it all, and you'll get like, over time you'll get money. Because if you like look at the history, like it's always been growing, pretty much. Like the only times it dips, it's like slightly a dip. And this is like coronavirus, this little dip right here. So this is like the past 10 years right here, and it's actually been growing even before that. I don't know if it's gonna let me view more than 10 years. I don't think it does, but yeah, this is even before 10 years. I think ever since its inception, like 70s or 80s or whatever, 60s. It's always just kind of been growing. So this is what I recommend to buy. Like you're gonna gain money over time, unless it's like a zombie apocalypse situation, like coronavirus. But even then, those situations don't last that long. And even though we're still like in coronavirus, it's still going up because people are just like, they want to be productive, they want to get money, they want their goods and services, they want their Chipotle burritos, even though they're at home and all that. So yeah, this is like the guaranteed way to make money, is just get VTSAX. If you're like young and you don't have, I think like the minimum price is like $3,000. There's another fund, I think it's like VFINX, which is cheaper. This one's closed, but I don't know. You can like go on Reddit, like, or you could just save $3,000. That's what I did. I easily had $3,000. But yeah, I'm just gonna keep it simple and just say you should just buy VTSAX. There's also like other things though, like REITs. You can buy this, which this also has 3,000. But yeah, there's like this is like real estate stocks pretty much, like shopping centers and like malls and like hospitals and stuff like that. Like normal people can't just buy a hospital, so it's like a company that has shares for the hospital, and they give it out to individuals like us so we can help that hospital out or whatever. Um, so yeah, that's how you invest in like real estate without having to like actively like look at homes and stuff like that and be like a real estate mogul. Um, anyway, but yeah, you might be able to find a fund with low minimum investment. Just like search on Reddit for like Vanguard fund, low minimum investment. I think VFI INX had a low one, but I don't know, it's saying it's like out right now or something. But yeah, you can take a look at that. But yeah, Vanguard is what I use. You can also buy like individual stocks and stuff. I do own like some individual stocks just because I want to like diversify and have fun. So I use E-Trade. I think I bought like 3 shares of Tesla back in like 2015 or something, and if the money is like tripled on me. So I wish I bought more, but I mean it's still good to just make some money. I didn't know it was gonna go up by that much, but yeah, and it's nice because I didn't get like overly emotional. I feel like if I bought a lot of it, I would have got emotional and it wouldn't have been good. So that's why it's also nice to like buy everything, because you can't really get emotional if you buy like literally everything, because you know it's only going to go up by like 8%. It's not like anything to like get too happy about. Yeah, and that's another thing. Like overall, this has proven to be like 8% on average. And if you look at like compounding interests in the stock market, it will tell you it's like roughly 8% or 9% a year. But it ranges. Like some years it might be 4%, some years it might be like -8 or something like that. But if your time horizon like more than 10 years, you're guaranteed to make money. All right. I feel like my throat's going up. Let's see here. Talked about player matching, E-Trade. Oh yeah, you can go on Robinhood. A lot of my friends do go on Robinhood. I think it might be a good platform. I think it's getting more mainstream, so they have to like adhere to regulations and stuff. But in general, I don't trust Robinhood because they preload their fees, and everybody loves to say like, "Oh, there's no fees in Robinhood," but there's actually a ton of fees. I think people are just not realizing them, and they all. Like, if you just go on their website, it's like I don't know. I guess they have a good UI. They don't really seem to be making you buy stuff, but I don't know. Even just how they're trying to like put in your face, like, oh, you need to get our app and like buy and sell and like look at the green. It's like I don't know. It's not the best, but I guess they're not bad. But yeah, they also like want you to like I don't know, probably sign up for like their special promotions, and I don't know. I guess it's good. I just don't use it. A lot of my friends use this, but I don't. Another thing you can use is Mints. So I took a picture of this. So Mints, like, it helps you look at all your investments, and also like your credit score and stuff like that. I never use my credit card, so I don't even know how I have a good credit score. But I guess the rare times where I did use my credit card, I just paid it off. But yeah, you can hook up all your accounts to into Mint and just kind of like see your net worth go up over time. So I blocked out all my numbers, but it's something cool to look at. And then yeah, there's also like Coinbase. I don't know if I took a look at Coinbase, and then there's also like other things you can invest your money in. So like cryptocurrency is something that I invested a lot of my time into. And yeah, I've like gained a lot of money and also like lost a lot of money rapidly just because I've had my money in crypto. But in general, I think most people are gonna lose their money in crypto. But it's just like something I feel like I understood personally more because I had a computer science degree and I kind of like understand like gaming economies and stuff like that. So I decided to like get into cryptos. But if you want to get into crypto, I would say get into it because there's a lot of anarchists and stuff like that. But it's pretty much just pretty much just people who are buying into the hype of like um, saying no to like the government just like printing our money away. So like I don't really understand how big of an impact inflation is and how the government just like prints more money. But I think it actually does have a pretty big impact because within cryptocurrency there's this thing called Tether, and Tether is basically this scam that it's letting people who issue this Tether coin just kind of like print money, and basically like Tether is like how people are like trading money with like you can trade one coin for another cryptocurrency coin, uh, but once you like cash out into cash, you have to like pay capital gains tax. But basically, in order to avoid that, they made like another token, which they just claim is like a dollar. It's like always going to be worth a dollar. At least this company claims that, and they're basically just a money printer. Like they're printing their own freaking cryptocurrency dollars, and nobody's like really questioning. Like they're under investigation right now, but the law moves so slow that it's gonna take a while for Tether to go out of business. So in the meantime, like the Bitcoin's price has just been going up and up like crazy, but it is probably gonna go crash to zero at some point because once once these companies like Tether really get under investigation, they're probably just gonna shut down. But they've been able to like avoid most like regulations and stuff, and honestly our government's kind of stupid and they're just like slowly catching up to all this stuff, and a lot of stuff is like lawsuits and stuff like that, and court takes forever. So pretty much I think of like it's just like a giant steamroller. Like the government's gonna come in and just like steamroll the whole cryptocurrency industry eventually, but it's just gonna take like a while. But once it happens, it's gonna be like hard, I think. But in the meantime, you can make a shit ton of money on just buying cryptos. But just be very careful, and I wouldn't say like put more than 30% of what you make into cryptos, because it's definitely something I got overly emotional on. And also, when you do have your cryptos, you want to keep them off these like accounts, like Coinbase, and you want to put them in a crypto wallet. But honestly, it's probably too technical for most people, so I'm not going to get into it. I already talked about real estates, which is like REITs, which is like REITs are when you buy like hospitals, and you can do it through all those same investment platforms like Charles Schwab, Vanguard, Fidelity. Other cool investments is like trading cards. So you can buy like baseball cards and stuff like that, and there's all different types of investments like Magic the Gathering cards, Pokemon cards. It's basically just supply and demand when it comes to trading cards. Like certain generations, like I'm a millennial, so I know the Pokemon cards are going to go up because there's limited supply of the original Gen 1 versions, I guess, and those are going to go up over time. Baby boomers had like baseball cards, so they value, like if you looked at Kobe Bryant's baseball card, I'm sure that's gone up in value. So yeah, it's just different things to think about. Gold, you can buy gold on JM Bullion. Gold is fun because it's just like, as soon as you look at gold, you just like automatically like feel like you have like wealth or something. Like gold just feels valuable in of itself. I bought like a few gold ounces, and it fluctuates. I don't know if you're gonna gain or lose money over time with gold, but I think I bought it when it was like 1,200, so a small rise, or like 1/3 rise, which is pretty nice. But who knows, maybe that'll fall. But I'm just keeping my gold ounces. It's just fun. Yeah, so that's Spider-Man. And then another thing I want to talk about is bonds, or like protecting your wealth in general. So I would say VTSAX is actually, I already said earlier, unless like a zombie apocalypse happens, you're not going to lose your money, because as long as like value is being generated in the economy, we're doing well. And the United States is still pretty much ahead of every other country, at least for like the next 50 to 100 years. And yeah, bonds is like a government issued security. So I don't really know what bonds are, but if you're getting like older in your life, you might want to start thinking about transitioning into bonds. Um, it's pretty much like the government saying like, okay, you lent us money, we're indebted to you because we needed that money to go fund like government projects or something like that. So it's like pretty much you're chaining the government to you, and they're going to help you out. But they don't typically pay you as much as stocks. So it's better to buy like the whole stock market with index funds rather than like a government security bonds because they just don't pay as high. But I guess they're like more stable because it's literally the government and it's literally the people who like run the U.S. dollar that are going to give you money, pretty much. It's like guaranteed. It's like stoked in law that they'll give you money. So if you're like older, like I don't know, 60, 50 or whatever, then 70, you might want to think about slowly transitioning into bonds, but you probably have like millions at that point. Probably do a lot more homework. So speaking of which, you always want to be learning about investing. So obviously go on YouTube, learn what you can. There's a lot of free resources. There's I don't know, you can find free books on YouTube. Like one free book that I recommend is, I don't know if it's free, but I found it on YouTube, but it's called Common Sense Investing by Jack Bogle. It talks about index funds and how they started. Um, Other things that I would recommend is just reddit.com/r/financial independence. This helped me out tremendously to like understand concepts. Uh, I mean, people here are already talking about how they're like millionaires and stuff, and the whole purpose of goal of this is to like retire. So most of the people here set a goal for themselves to retire young. And that's probably what my goal is right now. Like just get a roof over my head, so I don't have to stress as much. Yeah, they talk about different ideas and strategies. You can probably post in here and you know post in the weekly thing and get your questions answer asked for free. Other websites I would recommend is read this guy called Mr. Money Mustache. This guy retired when he was like 30. And he has like a lot of different ways to like save money. Like he talks about his car and just how he lives, his style of investing, and how to live really cheap, how to like save money through like bicycling, and he also talks about like 4% rates, rate of withdrawal. This is for like if you want to retire early, which is what my goal is. So you don't necessarily need this, but it's just an easy way to make money. And then you also probably want to listen to like YouTube videos like Dave Ramsey. Check out his videos. Minority Mindset is another. These are just like random people that I look into, and then like these are just like YouTube videos that I've used. And then if you're into like real estate, I just was listening to this guy. Well, it's kind of, you can just learn through different things. Also, if you're in school, you can talk about, and you want to hear more about like money in the real world and how like life sucks, and how to like avoid like student tuition and living at home and stuff like that. This guy has a lot of books and stuff that he goes over. And that's it. That's all I have right now for the top of it, on the top of my head. And yeah, just like in general, be careful with what you invest in. Don't go to the bar every single weekends because that can be pretty costly. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So hopefully this is a pretty decent overview of what I do to buy and invest and deal with stocks and all that. So yeah, hope this helps everybody who watches.